Hello everyone, this is the first step to produce construction drawings for a residential building. With Autodesk Revit 2022 open, we go to Models and select New. Select Imperial Architectural Template and say OK. The first step will be to bring in our image of the floor plan we have that we want to construct. To do that, we go to Insert, Link Image. My image is saved in the desktop as building image, and I open it here. I place the image in the center, and I'd want to resize this image so that it is the correct size. Right here it says it's 57 feet wide. So I go to Scale, and it says click to enter origin. So I zoom in and select the start point of the dimension and the end point of the dimension, which is this line. And we want to get to 57. Right now it's 48. I will move up to 57. Good. So the floor plan has been resized to 57 feet. Go on to pin this floor plan so it doesn't move while we're working. And in order to pin it, you come to this pin icon here and click on it. So the floor plan is pinned. The next thing we'll do is to set our levels. If we go to the east elevation, you see that right now we have level 1 and level 2. What we want to have is the first level for the foundation footing. The foundation footing is what carries the foundation walls, and the foundation walls will come up to the top of the foundation level. So we set the level 1 as the ground level. And we want the foundation level to be 2 feet below the ground level. In order to set the levels, we go to architectural, level, and come here and put 2 feet. With this, you come to the line and select. It goes down 2 feet under, and we want the walls to extend above the ground level by 3 feet. So after we putting 3 feet up there, you come to the line and select 3 feet. So we need to rename these levels. This is we need to rename the levels. We've done 3 feet. So I'm going to put back the next level, which is the foundation level. So in order to rename this level, in order to say escape to come out of the level 2, in order to rename the level, we'll double click on it and type foundation level. Yes. And I need to unlock it to drag it out so that we can read what we have there. On to the next one. Unlock it and drag it. The ground level is at 0. Make sure it remains at 0. And the third one will be foundation footing. So double click on it and rename it foundation footing. And now we're set to create our foundation. Before we do the foundation, let's go ahead and make our site. To make the site, we go to the project browser and double click on site to select it. We go to massing and site, topple surface, and put a height for the site. It can either be flat or a little slopey. Let's make it a little slopey at 1 foot. Use that for the top or the, let's say the back of the site, and the front of the site we can put 0. And we select tick to complete the site drawing. The foundation walls will be drawn in the foundation footing level. So we go there, double click to the foundation footing. And we need to bring our image to this foundation footing level. So what to do? What do? We go to the level where we have the image. And we have the image at the ground level. We'll come to the image, click on it to select it, and then we go to copy to clipboard. When we copy to clipboard, we come to paste and click this arrow under it and say align to selected levels. Here, these selected levels, we pick the foundation footing and say OK. Therefore, when we go to the foundation footing, in order to see our image, we'll go to this and select wireframe, and there we can see our image. So we want to draw the foundation walls to align with the walls in this image. Therefore, we go to architecture, wall. To make our foundation walls, we'll go to edit type and duplicate. And we'll name this walls foundation walls. So, okay. Come here to edit the thickness of the wall. We want these walls to be 6 inches thick. And say okay. For the height of the foundation wall, if we come to our east elevation, we'll see that we have the footing at -2 and the foundation level at 3. So the height of our walls is 3. Foundation will be 3 plus 2. That's 5. So I'll go back to the level where I want to draw the wall, select the wall, foundation wall, and I'll give it a height. We can set the base constraint to be footing and set the top constraint to be the foundation level. This way, whenever we adjust these levels, the wall will move with it. And you can see here that it is automatically 5 feet as we measured. And we'll trace them according to the outlines of the drawing. So you could draw them from the center or to the exterior. Come to this point and say finish face exterior. That way I can click on the edges. Click on the edge of the building. Once you get to where you want to stop, you can press escape to come out of the command and then continue again at the edge. So delete this one and draw it by the edge so that it will be neater. I come to this edge and click 6 inches wall. Escape, click here. This says that the wall is overlapping, so I need to delete one. I have 2 walls in place. Select the wall tool again and draw. We keep tracing the plan. Once we're done with the foundation walls, we view it in 3D, and we can see all the foundation walls. The next thing to do is to apply the foundation footing. For that, we go to structure and select structural foundation. We go to edit type and duplicate. The footing, if we call it the foundation footing, and say okay. And the width of our footing, we can adjust it to, our wall is 6 inches thick, 6 inches thick, and so our footing can be 3 times the wall width, and that can be one 1 foot. 6 is 18, 12, so 1 foot 6 inches, and the thickness we can use 6 inches thickness and say okay. So to apply the footing, we click on the walls. And you see the footing appear under each wall. So we just keep clicking on the walls for the footing. Over a wall and it's blue, then it doesn't have a footing. This this doesn't have a footing. This doesn't have a footing. If it's blue, it doesn't have a footing. So cancel. So we already have a footing. And we're done with footing. So we can view this in realistic mode by going to this box and say realistic. We can see the foundation walls. Go back to shaded and wireframe so we can see up to the footing. Creating the foundation footing, the next thing will be to create the sill plates on the top of the foundation walls. Before we do that, we need to load the lumber for the sill plates. Therefore, we go to Insert, Load Autodesk Family. The first thing you would see, and go to the beginning, when you go to Load Autodesk Family, you see this list. Go to Structural Framing, Wood, Dimension Lumber, and Load. Then we select the 2x6 and say okay. After that, we go to Structure, Beam, and we select Dimension Lumber, 2x6. Then we go to the layer or the view where we have the top of the foundation wall, which is the foundation level. If you cannot see your plans at the foundation level, go over here to, I'm gonna escape from here, go to the project browser underlay. Make sure that you have the range base to foundation footing and apply. So to apply the seal plate, which is a 2x6 lumber, come to the edge of the wall and draw a seal plate. So it says that the seal plate is not visible here. I'm going to go to the 3D and see if I can see it there. Yes, this is the seal plate. In order to adjust the seal plate, I'll select the lumber and go to edit type, duplicate, and I want to make it horizontal. So I'll name it, instead of 2x6, I'll name it 6x2 and say okay. And I will swap the dimensions. So over here, it is 1.5 and 5.5. So I'll change this 1.5 at the top to 5 and change the 5 to 1 and say okay. See, it has changed to a horizontal member, which will sit. So we have a 6-inch wide sail plate sitting on a 6-inch wide foundation wall. I'll go back to the foundation level and we cannot see it here. So in order for us to see it, we'll come to this and make it settings to fine. We'll make the settings fine. Fine, and I'll go to wireframe here. And come to this place and click. The range base says ground level. So I come to this range base and say, no, go to view range, edit view range, and come to level here and say unlimited, apply, say okay. That way we can see everything that we have done, including the seal plate. So this is the foundation footing, foundation wall, and the seal plate. In order to apply this seal plate all around this foundation, we'll select this seal plate and say create similar. I'll come over here and draw the seal plate. It helps to go in one direction and then another. So the triangle signifies the midpoint of any place, the triangle. And so after drawing the seal plates, we take a look at it in the 3D. Now we can go here and select the realistic view so that we can see the seal plates. And at this point, it looks like it's sitting in the concrete. So we'll select all the seal plates, select one, and say select all instances in the entire project. Now we go to Z justification. Instead of top, let's change it to bottom and say apply. And therefore the seal plate is sitting on the wall now. If we look at it, we can see that the seal plate is above the foundation walls. The joist that is at the edge. So I'm going to say escape and go back to the joist that will be on the seal plate. So we'll go to the floor. We're still at the foundation level. We'll go to structure and beam, and then we pick the 2x6 lumber and come to the edge. We can draw the joist first and then send it to the edge. Escape. So let's take a look at this in 3D to make sure the heights are okay. In order to zoom around this 3D, we'll come to this navigation wheel, click at the center, orbit. I need to go back and see where, no, we need to set this in wireframe so that we can see the joist that we have just placed. So this is the joist, it's hidden in the wall, that's why we couldn't find it. And so we go to the Z justification. Z is in the vertical direction, X and Y, and the 2D plane. So we say bottom, apply, and therefore the joist can now show. So if I go back to the shaded frame, you can still see the joist. And at this level, we need to put an offset value of 0, 1.5 so that it sits on the sail plate. So we'll come to the Z offset value and put here 0, 1, space, half, and apply. And that way we see that it's sitting on the edge. So what we need to do now is align it to the edge of the wall. And to do that, we can type on our keyboard AL and select the endpoint and select the edge here. So it quickly moves there to the, this didn't go well. We want to align it, we go to that level, the top level of the wall. At this point, we can align it properly and say here and here, so it moves to the edge. In this way now, escape from the command, select the wall and say create similar. And we can put it at every wall, every perimeter wall, exterior wall. We can draw this and then, okay, this is neat enough. We can draw at each perimeter wall. But this would have to align AL, and then we select this edge and this edge, so it goes back in. Create similar, come to this edge and here, and so align. When you're aligning, you select the destination of the wall and then the one you want to move so that it moves to it. This destination, I want it to come here. So here and here, so that we have neat edges. And for the beam system, we need to set our reference plane. It's picky plane, and the plane is the foundation level. Okay. And they ask us to select a starting point. So we need to select the area for the beam system. Either we draw it by line this way, we go around the foundation, we select the line, or we use this pick lines and pick inside the joists. And I'll move those lines. The idea is to get inside the joist because we do not want the beam to extend beyond these perimeter joists. Let's select the right one and delete the wrong one. All right, so we select the inner line of the joist, and the next thing we do is to make sure they are closed for the beam system. These parallel lines indicate the direction of the beam system. Here, I'll press escape and move this line to the interior of the joist. I go back and chamfer. This is far off, so I'm going to move it to the point where joists are. And then I continue chamfering. Yeah. So we have the outline of the beam system, and then we check for the outline of beam system, we check for the fixed spacing. The spacing of the beam system should be 0 and 16 inches. And we look at the elevation, of the beam system from the foundation level, because it is sitting, we have the foundation level and it is sitting on the foundation level. We're going to add the 6 inches and say apply and tick a good for it. So save my project again. It prompts us to save the project. We want to take out the text. So select it, right click and say hide in view by category. So that takes care of the text. So we look at the beam system now, and we see that we have our beam system in place. If we look at the section or the elevation, we go to the east elevation and select fine. That way we'll see that our beam system is in place with our joists. And so we move on to the next thing, which is the flooring. In order to do the floor, we go to architecture. Let's go to the foundation level. Before we do the floor, the next thing we'll do is the floor. And before we do that, we'll go to the east elevation and create a level for the floor. So if we have this as the top of our foundation wall, we want to create a level for the floor, which is 6 inches above the foundation level. I'll come to architecture, level, and create a floor at 6 inches. So I'll come over here and select it and escape, and then we'll say we rename this to floor level. We'd like to name, yes, we name the corresponding views. To unlock it, to move it zoom in on it, select it, and if you double click on it, it takes you to that level. So I'll go back to east, select. Okay, it's locked. So unlock it again and drag in order to see all the levels. So we have our floor level, and we want to have the next level, which would be the top at the roof level. So we'll make sure the height between the floor and the roof can be 10 feet. So we set this distance to be 13.6. And we can rename this to our roof level. Yes. Now we go to the next phase, which is our floor. For us to create the floor, we will go to our floor level. And in this floor level, we can, if we want to see the other levels, we can say range base, at the foundation level, apply, and we come here and say fine. That way we can see the other parts. At this level, we go to architecture and select floor. The kind of floor we want to put is a wooden floor. So we'll come here to edit type, duplicate, and call it floor. Let's say wood floor. So we edit the wall thickness. We edit the floor thickness. The floor can be 6 inches. No, it's wood. So thickness of the wood is 3/4 inch. So it will be 0 and 3/4. And for this category, come here to select the material. We have oak flooring, we have softwood lumber. So let's select softwood lumber and say okay. Selected softwood lumber and we say okay. Thereafter, we come and select the boundaries of the floor. And then we make sure all the lines are touching by using chamfer. There's no overlap. After that, we say okay, and it shows where there's an opening, and we say continue. And here needs a line. So oops, so there was a line there already. Escape. Let's see. So pick my select tool, click on it and delete. I'm gonna stick everything out. Draw in a line. Lines cannot intersect each other, so continue. I'll use the chamfer tool to make sure there is no intersection. I say good. It says lines cannot intersect each other. So we see that this dot is the problem. So delete and then take a line. There you go. We have our flooring. So let's look at it in 3D. Our floor is lapping there, and so the next thing after the floor is to put the bottom plates. In order to put the bottom plates, we will use the 6x2 columns and align them. So similar to what we did for the sill plates, we put the bottom plates on the flooring now. We'll go to structure, beam, select 6x2 and draw. So there's a lot going on now. We don't want to see everything now. So I go to course. Yeah, that way I can see my walls. And so I apply the bottom plates. I'll go around the perimeter wall. Any wall that is not in place can be aligned later. We'll go around the perimeter with the bottom plate. So that was the starting point. So say escape and come to this wall that was out of alignment. Let's look at it in the 3D view. The bottom plate is sitting on the range base. Let me set it to foundation or ground level so we can see the walls. Yes, that's the plan. We want to see the walls so that we can apply the bottom plate. We come to the beam and we have the 6x2 bottom plate. Right now we're at the floor level, so we can apply our bottom plate. One, and then we go to the 3D to check it out. And if we look at it, we see the bottom plate is sitting here. But there's a gap on the bottom plate, so we select the bottom plate and go to Z offset. You see the Z offset value of 0.5. And so I'll change that to 0. Apply. It's low, so I'll change it again to 0.1 and say apply. And it's sitting on the joist. So after setting that, we'll go back to the floor level and set it to fine so that we can see our bottom plate. And so we select the bottom plate and say create similar. Select. And applying it for the exterior walls, bottom plate. For the exterior walls first. And create similar. So always remember to use your create similar so that it works with the settings you already have. And we're back to the beginning. So we have some internal walls and the external wall. After the bottom plate, the next thing we have are the studs, and we use the columns to place the studs. We'll go to the floor level. I'll come to we need to insert the stud material first. So we go to insert, load Autodesk family, structural columns, and wood, dimension lumber, load. I will select 2x6. Say okay. I'll go to structure and select columns. Now we see this 2x6 here. While here we change the depth to height, and we check that the level terminates at the roof level, and at the structure, we want to select want to place the stud. So we'll come to the edge and place it and cancel. While it's there, view it in 3D. Make sure it is properly positioned. So turn it to view properly. So we want it above the bottom plate. So select it and set the base offset. Set the base offset to 0 and 1.5. apply. It's still not above the bottom plate, so I'm gonna increase that to 0 and 2. That's 3, 0 and 3, we double that. Now when we double it, we see that it is sitting on the bottom plate. Thereafter, we go to adjust stop offset to be minus, because the top will take the top plate. So we adjust it to be minus 0 and 1.5. Now we apply. Well, so this is the first one, and then we're going to create others for it. So we'll go back to the floor level, and to make other studs, we select this and go to array and think about how many studs will fit into this place at 16-inch spacing. So we come here and say maybe 30, and come over here from the middle up to 16-inch spacing. That's 1 foot 4 inches. We click. So it generates 30 studs. It looks like we need more, maybe 33. And so we have 33 studs on this wall. Now for the edge, we might need to copy this and place it at the edge. At the edges, we can either have a regular corner or a California corner. The regular corner will be 2 studs in a corner, which I will draw. So I'm gonna, for a California corner, I will copy this, copy it, and then rotate it. I'll drag this to the corner and rotate. After I'll move it to the edge here. So we have our California corner. Go ahead and delete this. This corner where we have the California corner, and so we can copy this, or no, we can mirror it for this edge. So I'll select it by drawing a box around it, and we select mirror, and we look for the center of this wall, which is where we have the pink triangle, and select that it should make a copy before we click again. And so we have the 2 edges California corner. And then we go ahead to copy this, select it from the edge, and drop it here to make a new column. And then if we select this and say array, now we say maybe 10. Go ahead and click here. Now the spacing of 1, 4. So when we're done with inserting the studs, we look at it in the 3D view, and then we go on to copy the bottom plate for the top plate. We go to the floor level and we select our bottom plate. To add other selection, we hold down on Control and keep on selecting our bottom plate. Hold on Control. You see that small plus arrow, plus icon. Select the bottom plate. The selection, we go to copy to clipboard and go to paste. Align to selected levels and we pick the roof level and say OK. We go to the 3D view to check out our paste. I'm missing this horizontal one here. Go back to floor level. Select this. Copy to clipboard. Paste align to selected levels. Roof level. Back to 3D. It appears now. It shows example of some top plates. And we want to see how it laps. So go to this television and check it out. You see that these top plates are far above they already set the former the studs to end below the roof level so that we can adjust the top plate. So we select the top plates and adjust, set Z justification to 0. So then draw a box on it and set the Z justification 0 and make it top. Apply. So when we look at it, you see that it is sitting directly on the stud. Now we select it and we say copy to clipboard and then we paste it again to roof level. Say OK. So they're in the same place. For this second selection, we change it to bottom instead of top. And now we have our double plates. So that is all for now. We go to the 3D and we zoom in to it. See that this edge is supposed to adjust the way to lap, like to grip. So we could grip. So the top, I go to align, AL, and then select this edge and this edge. Okay, select this edge. Select this edge and this. Select these two faces and then select this edge and the bottom. So that way for structural integrity, this crosses over and this is supposed to end here. So I'll select, okay, select this edge. Center. This is the edge we're working on. So select this edge. So go to tab if you want to change it. So click on it and this edge. So that is how the joints meet each other. So this is the end of the step 1. In the next video, we'll insert our doors and windows. Thank you.